The savanna was unusually quiet that morning. Not silent, never silent, but muted, as if the land itself was holding its breath. Low grass rolled across the plain in dull green waves. A thin veil of dust floated in the warm air. Far off, a line of acacia trees leaned under a pale sky that hadn't decided yet whether it would burn or rain. That was when the man noticed something wrong. Near a shallow, dry riverbed, a small elephant stood alone. Too small to be alone. Its body was stiff, legs planted wide, trunk frozen midair as if it had been interrupted in the middle of a thought. It wasn't moving, and around its lower body, something dark and thick lay unnaturally still. From a distance, it was hard to tell what it was. Only that it didn't belong there. The man slowed his steps. He had lived near the savanna long enough to trust distance more than bravery. As he came closer, the shape in the grass began to make sense. A massive python lay coiled around the baby elephant's back legs and lower torso. Its body was wide, heavy, patterned like cracked earth. Not striking, not thrashing, just holding. The elephant's ears were half spread, trembling. Its eyes were wide but quiet, not screaming, not charging, just watching. Waiting. There was no herd in sight. No dust clouds. No warning calls echoing across the plains. Only the slow tightening of muscle against skin. The man stopped several yards away. He didn't know how long the animal had been trapped. He didn't know if the python would release or constrict. The wind shifted. The python's head lifted slightly, tongue tasting the air. Not aggressive. Alert. The man stayed still. He knew sudden motion could turn hesitation into violence. He lowered himself slowly, letting the grass hide his outline. The elephant let out a low sound, not a cry, but a vibration. A signal meant for a mother who wasn't there. The python tightened just enough for the man to notice. The elephant's knees bent a fraction. This was the moment where rushing would fail. The man reached into his bag and pulled out a long, rough blanket. Canvas, frayed at the edges. He had used it before for injured wildlife. Never for something like this. He took one step, then another. Every movement was measured, every breath shallow. Instead of approaching the elephant, the man moved sideways, circling wide. The python followed him with its eyes. He stopped near the thickest part of its body and slowly laid the blanket across the coils, not touching it first, just resting it nearby, letting the fabric pick up heat and scent. Then, inch by inch, he slid the blanket over the python's midsection. The sudden change in texture mattered. The python shifted, confused by the pressure and loss of direct contact. Its coils loosened slightly, not enough to free the elephant, but enough to create space. The man used that space. With a long branch, he gently wedged between the coils and the elephant's leg. No force, just steady leverage. The elephant stumbled as one leg came free. Then another. The python recoiled, pulling its body back, no longer holding, only retreating. Within seconds, the baby elephant was loose. It didn't run. It stood there, shaking. The python slid back into the grass, its body disappearing with the same quiet patience it had arrived with. The man stayed still. The elephant swayed, then took one uncertain step forward. Its trunk brushed the ground, then lifted, testing the air. Far in the distance, a deep rumble answered. The herd was coming. The man backed away slowly, lowering himself again into the grass, becoming smaller, less important. The baby elephant turned once, not toward him, but toward the sound. Toward safety. As it walked, one of its legs dragged slightly, then corrected itself. The savanna resumed its rhythm. A breeze moved through the grass. Dust settled, and the place where the struggle had happened looked ordinary again, except for a single wide footprint pressed deep into the earth, slowly filling with light.